G'day and welcome back to the channel Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and these of course are my movie reviews. Now if you're new to my channel, thank you very much for tuning in, stopping by and checking it out. It is truly appreciated, and of course, you know, it would be really appreciated hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing to my channel, hitting that notification bell so that way you're notified of any future content that comes out. And we do have a fair bit on the way. So for my returning and existing subscribers, thank you for your continued support. It truly means the world to me. And we're back with another Trashy Tuesday. And as you can see behind me, The Toxicavenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie, which came out in 1989. Now, I have been delving into the Toxicavenger franchise on and off for the last, month and a half or so. It's an experience. It's got its good moments, it's got its bad moments, but I mean, that's the beauty of trashy films. They are there to be enjoyed for various reasons, no matter how trashy they are or what genre they are. They could be horror, they could be horror comedy, could be a blend of things, you know, they could be action, they could be sci-fi, they could be just comedy. You never know what you're going to get when it comes to trashy films, but what I really enjoy about these trashy films is there's usually a lot of heart to them. There's something that the directors, the actors, the writers are trying to get out there. They may not have the budget there, but they've got a lot of heart. And that's what we're looking at these films. So Toxicavenger Part 3 came out in 1989. It was directed again by Michael Herz and Lloydkaufman. The film stars Ron Fazio, John Altamura, Phoebe Legari, hopefully again pronouncing that probably wrong, but Rick Collins, and many, many more. Now, you would notice that those actors are the same from the previous film, and there is a reason for that. This film uses a lot of footage from Toxicavenger Part 2. But we'll get into that in a moment. Now, the plot. Toxie finds himself with nothing to do as a superhero, as he's cleaned up the streets of Tromaville. He's gotten rid of all the evil. So he decides to go work for a major corporation, which he discovers may be the evilest of all his adversaries. With a name like Apocalypse Incorporated, you kind of got to go with, yeah, that's pretty evil. Anyway, just a heads up, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen this film, you've been warned. Okay, so this is obviously the third installment in the Toxicavenger franchise, and this one, well, in all honesty, it takes a very steep decline. Maybe it was for me, I kind of felt that it was a heavy-handed recount of the previous film. And given that we're both made at the same time and released in the same year, I didn't really feel that was necessary. And maybe that was because I'd actually just watched the second film as well. Yeah, so I didn't feel the need for that detailed recount of the previous film. And some of it isn't even a recount. Some of it is just, hey, let's take this from the second film and put it in here and make it a part of the plot. It was exactly like just copy paste. I will say though, seeing Toxie change into a corporate yuppie douchebag, that's a sight to behold. Okay, so the cast of the Toxicavenger delivers performances that are as over the top and delightfully absurd as the film itself. Leading the charge is Ron Fazio as Toxie, who brings a perfect blend of earnestness and bumbling charm to the role of the titular hero. Phoebe Legari shines again as Toxie's love interest, Claire. She infuses her with a mix of strength and vulnerability and a bit of cheesiness as well, and creates a character who is somewhat capable of an ally to Toxie and a fully realized individual in her own right. And the chemistry between the two adds depth to the film's comedic moments and emotional beats alike. The supporting cast members also deliver memorable performances, each bringing their own unique quirks to their respective roles. Rick Collins, I mentioned him in the previous film. He again excels in this. It's a scene-stealing turn as the evil chairman, and it's another delight to see, particularly as he transforms into the devil. I mentioned it was very Tim Curry-esque, and it does have that feel to it, but even more so, like just utter ridiculous. The style of what he puts into it. Every actor in the film embraces the absurdity of the film and their characters with a certain amount of gusto. And that is what I really enjoy about these trashy films. They know what they're in for and they love it. Okay, so it's important to acknowledge that The Toxic Avenger Part 3 fully embraces its B-movie roots. The film revels in its low-budget aesthetic, showcasing the over-the-top violence and crude humour that will undoubtedly appeal to fans of the genre. However, from a narrative standpoint, The Last Temptation of Toxie struggles to maintain coherence. The plot meanders aimlessly, and at times the narration felt like the actual film itself couldn't tell us what was happening. And they were forced to tell the viewer directly. It really stood out for me that it felt forced. Additionally, previous entries in the franchise managed to blend the satire and the absurdity effectively, but Part 3 just comes across as preachy. Now, this chaotic style of storytelling may be intentional as a nod to exploitation cinema, but I felt it ultimately detracts from the viewer's engagement of the overall film. And now onto the effects. So, while the practical effects are undeniably crude, it's executed with certain charm that harks back to the glory days of the 1980s schlock cinema. The Toxic Avenger Part 3 maintains and features exaggerated and comedic violence with plenty of blood and gore throughout. The special effects makeup and prosthetics that are used to create gruesome injuries and transformations are consistent with the film's campy tone. I love the look of the devil in particular. Like, he wasn't red, he was green, as you can see here. That's kind of not what he looks like, but I'll pop it up on the screen, obviously. But yeah, he had this slimy look about him, which fits in well with the slimy corporate feel of it. So they tied that in really well, I thought. And it just looked good. Like, it's not like it's all CGI and all that new stuff that we get now. I want to say new crap that we get now, but it's got that physicality to it that you don't see anymore. Rewatchability. When it comes to rewatchability, it really depends on your taste for outrageous and intentionally cheesy cinema. For fans of campy, offbeat movies, The Toxic Avenger Part 3 offers some entertainment value. Its outlandish plot, its tongue-in-cheek humour, its gory special effects can make it a fun experience to revisit. But I probably won't revisit this one, at least for some time. The way it used the previous installment over and over again just took me out of it. And now for my final verdict. So the overall feel of this film, it felt forced and it did fall flat for me. Maybe that was due to watching Part 2 so close to Part 3 that I didn't really feel the need for the recap in detail, or as in much detail as they provided, and the reuse of footage just felt lazy to me. I could have skipped all that and been fine with it. The film itself goes for an hour and 42 minutes, and if I'm being honest, at least 20 minutes of it was from Part 2. If you cut that 20 minutes out, this would have been a really enjoyable film. But the constant rehashing of the previous story, just wasn't needed. So overall, what would I give The Toxic Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie, out of 10? Well, it has its moments, but it isn't as good as the first two. So I would give The Toxic Avenger Part 3 a 5.5 out of 10. And there you have it. That is my review of The Toxic Avenger Part 3. Have you guys seen this film and what did you think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. I love hearing you guys talk about these movies. It is fantastic to hear your thoughts on them as well. So please do comment down below. And if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. It's always appreciated. And if you've stuck with me through this and you haven't done it yet, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell for future content. As you can tell, I've got my Trashy Tuesdays. I've also got my Franchise Fridays, and we've just hit a new one. We're doing the Wrong Turn series. That's going to be a fun one. Who knows which film franchise will be next? Next week's Trashy Tuesday is going to be a good one. So stick around for that. It's not going to be Toxicavenger. It's going to be something different, but you'll like it, hopefully. Anyway, look, I'm rambling on. Thank you very much for watching, and please have a great day. Bye.
Welcome to my party.